Hello everyone! How are you today? Today we will have a new lesson about computer basics. How does a computer work? Look at this picture of a computer from a computer laboratory. A computer is made up of many parts. Let's explore the parts to see if you know what they are called. First, the monitor. The monitor works with a video card located inside the computer case to display images and text on the screen. Most monitors have control buttons that allow you to change your monitor's display settings, and some monitors also have built-in speakers. Newer monitors usually have LCD or liquid crystal display or LED or light emitting diode displays. These can be made very thin and they are often called flat panel displays. Other monitors uses CRT cathode ray tube displays. CRT monitors are much larger and heavier and they take up more disk space. The Central Processing Unit, or CPU, also called the processor, is located inside the computer case on the motherboard. It is sometimes called the brain of the computer, and its job is to carry out commands. Whenever you press a key, click the mouse, or start an application, you're sending instructions to the CPU. The CPU is usually a 2-inch ceramic square with a silicon chip located inside. The chip is usually about the size of a thumbnail. The CPU fits into the motherboard CPU socket, which is covered by the heat sink, an object that absorbs heat from the CPU. A processor speed is measured in megahertz, or millions of instructions per second, and gigahertz, or billions of instructions per second. A faster processor can execute instructions more quickly. However, the actual speed of the computer depends on the speed of many different components, not just the processor. Next is the system unit or computer case. The computer case is the metal and plastic box that contains the main components of the computer, including the motherboard, central processing unit, and power supply. The front of the case usually has an on-off button and one or more optical drives. The computer cases come in different shapes and sizes. A desktop case lies flat on a desk and the monitor usually sits on top of it. A tower case is tall and sits next to the monitor or on the floor. All-in-one computers come with the internal components built into the monitor, which eliminates the need for a separate case. I will upload soon another presentation for you to learn about the buttons, ports, and slots on a desktop computer. Floppy disk drive. The CPU has places to insert disks. One kind of disk drive is a floppy disk drive. A floppy disk drive reads information from a very thin floppy disk inside a hard plastic case. Floppy disks can hold up to 1.44 megabytes of information. The hard drive is where your software, documents, and other files are stored, and the hard drive is long-term storage, which means the data is still saved even if you turn the computer off or unplug it. CD-ROM or disk drive. CD-ROM stands for compact disk read-only memory. They are flat, shiny disks that store information. Most new computers have CD-RW drives. CD-RW stands for Compact Disk Rewrite. This type of disk allows you to write information to it as well as read from it. Most can hold up to 700 megabytes of information. DVD drive or burner. The newest computers come with the option of a DVD drive. A DVD or digital video disc just looks like a CD, but holds much more information. They can store 4.7 gigabytes of data. Flash drive. Flash drive is a relatively new storage device. It's like a mini portable hard drive. Plug it into the USB or the Universal Serial Bus port on the front of newer computers and you can save to it. But how do computers work? A computer works with the help of the input, process, and output devices. As input, this is when transformation is entered into a computer. Some common input devices include the keyboard, mouse, and scanner. For the keyboard, it is one of the main ways to communicate with a computer. There are many different types of keyboards, but most are very similar and allow you to accomplish the same basic task. I will upload soon another presentation for you to learn about the different parts of the keyboard. It is followed by the mouse. The mouse is another important tool for communicating with computers, commonly known as a pointing device. It lets you point to objects on the screen, click on them, and move them. There are two main mouse types, optical and mechanical. The optical mouse uses an electronic eye to detect movement and is easier to clean. The mechanical mouse uses a rolling ball to detect movement and requires regular cleaning to work properly. There are other devices that can do the same thing as a mouse. Many people find them easier to use and they also require less desk space than a traditional mouse. A trackball has a ball that can rotate freely instead of moving the device like a mouse. You can roll the ball with your thumb to move the pointer. A touchpad, also called a trackpad, is a touch-sensitive pad that lets you control the pointer by making a drawing motion with your finger. Touchpads are common on laptop computers. Next is a scanner. Scanner allows you to copy a physical image or document and save it to your computer as a digital or computer-readable image. Many scanners are included as part of an all-in-one printer, although you can also buy a separate flatbed or handheld scanner. Next is for the output devices. This is the information that comes out of a computer after it has been processed. The information comes out on output devices such as printer or computer monitor. For the printers, it is used to print documents, photos, and anything else that appears on your screen. There are many types of printers, including inkjet, laser, and photo printers. There are even all-in-one printers which can also scan and copy documents. Soundboard or sound card. The sound card, also called an audio card, is responsible for what you hear in the speakers or headphones. Most motherboards have integrated sound, but you can upgrade to a dedicated sound card for a higher quality sound. Video card is also responsible for what you see on the monitor. Most computers have a GPU or graphics processing unit built into the motherboard instead of having a separate video card. If you like playing graphics-intensive games, you can add a faster video card to one of the expansion slots to get better performance. Next try is the speakers. Speakers or headphones are output devices, which means they send information from the computer to the user. In this case, they allow you to hear sound and music. Depending on the model, they may connect to the audio part or the USB port. Some monitors also have built-in speakers. Of course, there will be computer processing. Once information has been sent to a computer by one of the input devices, it's processed. The computer uses its brain to process the information. The computer's brain is called a CPU or Central Processing Unit. Let us talk about the RAM or Random Access Memory. RAM is your system's short-term memory. Whenever your computer performs calculations, it temporarily stores the data in the RAM until it is needed. This short-term memory disappears when the computer is turned off. If you're working on a document, spreadsheet, or other type of file, you will need to save it to avoid losing it. When you save a file, the data is written to the hard drive, which acts as a long-term storage. RAM is measured in megabytes or MB or gigabytes or GB. The more RAM you have, the more things your computer can do at the same time. If you don't have enough RAM, you may notice that your computer is sluggish when you have several programs open. Because of this, many people add extra RAM to their computers to improve performance. Next is the ROM or read-only memory. A second kind of computer memory is ROM, which stands for read-only memory. This memory is permanent. The information there was put there when the computer was made. The computer needs the information and its ROM memory in order to function. Let's talk about hard disk drive or hard drive. The hard drive is where your software, documents, and other files are stored. The hard drive is long-term storage, which means the data is still saved even if you turn the computer off or unplug it. When you run a program or open a file, the computer copies some of the data from the hard drive onto the RAM. When you save a file, the data is copied back to the hard drive. The faster the hard drive, the faster your computer can start up and load programs. Then, the motherboard. The motherboard is the computer's main circuit board. It's a thin plate that holds the CPU, memory, connectors for the hard drive and optical drives, expansion cards to control the video and audio, and connections to your computer's ports such as USB ports. The motherboard connects directly or indirectly to every part of the computer. And last, for the power supply, the power supply you need in a computer converts the power from the wall outlet to the type of power needed by the computer. It sends power to cables to the motherboard and other components. There are so many hardware or many parts of a computer, of course. So these are all the basics or some example of the computer and how does it work. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.